Hello everybody and welcome back to Stu's Tech. Today we are going to be talking about the ray tracing capabilities of the PS5. We will also be talking about what the Xbox team needs for its July rebuttal to the very well put together Sony presentation of their up and coming PS5. And what's this? The Lockhart is becoming more and more less of a myth as we get closer to the launch dates of the next generation. And unfortunately, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The Last of Us 2. If you like this content, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Tell a friend to watch and enjoy, and maybe subscribe so that this channel can grow. Alright, let's talk about the PS5 and its ray tracing abilities. Now, all of this information is courtesy of Digital Foundry. Those guys are amazing and would love to have a job like that. I highly recommend that you go and take a look at what they have to say, as they were impressed with the actual capabilities of the console for what it had put out, and went into depth on what type of techniques that the devs were utilizing to get the ray tracing working on these games without having significant impact on performance. YouTube video link is in the description box below. Like I said in my previous videos, the next generation is going to be a huge leap from this one. Both companies are taking off the gloves and are ready to commit. There will be shortcomings with what the PS5 will be able to pull off though, by a lot when compared with the Series X. And I think that this July we are going to see what I am talking about. Microsoft, do not make me eat my words. I would like to point out something, and all of the PlayStation crazies out there are going to get upset at me. I'm pretty sure that I am right about that SSD. I really do think that Sony put too much into that basket, but I guess time will tell. And with the limited silicon in the PS5's GPU, though the fastest that AMD has made, everybody has just overlooked and discounted one of the biggest GPUs that AMD has made in the Series X. And to be truthful, I think that the Series X is the more balanced of the two, because it has the fast SSD and the power to back it up, while the PS5 is going to be using boosted clocks with a live or die by the SSD. Because let's be real, third-party developers are not going to be tapping into the PS5's SSD true capabilities when developing for multi-platform games. If you want more on that, watch my last video. Now I just want to vent a little, just a little, because quite frankly, the few people that had watched one of my vids wanted to call me a liar because I pretty much said that the PlayStation fans were grabbing on the one thing that beats the Series X, and that's the SSD. I was called a liar, and my knowledge was mediocre and blah blah blah. Yeah, sure, what I said was true, factual, and the way that I had explained it wasn't digging deep into the technical aspects on how these architectures work in these systems, but it was far from being not true. And I truly believe that these people, I'm looking at you PlayStation fanboys, will see the true power of bigger GPUs. I mean, I have never seen this in my life where people are saying that more is less. Looking at you, Mark Cerny. Yes, he did in fact say that the CU count did not matter. And I say, really man? Really? You know why he said that, right? This is not hard to figure out. The PlayStation 5 is outgunned big time when it comes to the graphical power that the Series X can hash out. Now before you go and say, oh you're just biased, you're an Xbot, watch my last couple of videos and you will find out that I am very fair and I just put out facts. The disparity between the two consoles is quite large, and don't go and compare the PS4 Pro to the Xbox One X and say it's the same, because no, it's not. The Series X is faster in every single aspect with the exception of the SSD, and their SSD is no slouch, but people are discounting the Series X. But I guess it was the same type of attitude from the same people when the Series X first debuted, and they were saying, it's so big, it's so huge, it's like a refrigerator, how are you going to put that in your entertainment system? Until the PS5 dwarfed the Series X. Not by a little, by a lot. But now the same people aren't saying anything and are forcibly loving the PS5 look and size. But let's be real, that thing is huge. And it goes to show how biased the gaming media is, because they're making every excuse for the size and look and are coming up with ways to try to say that it's not that bad when it is. You can't go and complain about the PS3 size when it first came out and said it was too big, and not complain about the PS5 because it makes the PS3 look cute. Now once again, I am not saying that the PS5 can't make great looking games. It can. I'm not saying that the first party developers aren't going to take advantage of the PS5's quick SSD and make some pretty crazy new innovating things. I am saying that none of the games that were shown during the PS5 June event looked as good as Hellblade 2. And I am saying that this event that Microsoft is going to have is going to be for the big hitters and will not be like the lackluster of an event in May. Don't mess this up, Microsoft. I'm talking you up right now. I am saying that Microsoft is going to make a good argument on why they have been calling the Series X a massive leap in power and in performance. So Microsoft, I know that my channel is small and that I don't have a lot of subscribers at all, but this is my recommendation. Show a live stream, the powering up and gameplay on the Series X. Show what this bad boy can do. Take those gloves off and do some work. Just for one game, just one. I guarantee that it will send ripples across the gaming community. And what about that Lockhart? That was just a myth, a fairy tale, it's not gonna happen console. Well, it looks like it's going to be happening, and it's been leaked from multiple sources, and one of those sources is this gentleman known as Eastman on the Beyond 3D forums. This does not look good for Sony, and here's why. There are a lot of rumors out there that are saying that the Xbox Series X could be going for $400. Uh-oh. And the Series S, which will not be as powerful and won't have a disk drive, will be $300 or maybe as low as $200. So what you're saying is that Microsoft not only made a gaming console that can play 4K at 60 frames per second up to 120 frames per second, for smaller games of course, with a 2 GB raw read, 4 GB compressed read SSD for $400? If all of the rumors are true, that is a huge blow to the PS5. The reason why? Well, that SSD on the PS5 is not cheap, my friends. That's a really expensive piece of hardware. Microsoft can do this because they're counting on subscriptions that can make up for lost revenue on the hardware sales, and they have deeper pockets. If this is true, this will be a very interesting time for the PlayStation 5, especially if Microsoft starts pushing out exclusives, which 15 gaming studios in-house. Yes, they will have exclusives. If this is true, it will be really hard to justify not picking up a Series X first if you haven't already gotten an Xbox One X. Not going into depth again with that. If you want to hear my take on it, please watch my last video and share. And with Microsoft starting the manufacturing of the Series X months before the PS5, there might even be a chance where it could come out a month or two earlier. Well, that's what I would do anyways. Wishful thinking. Now let's talk about The Last of Us 2. No, I haven't played the game. I'm not going to play the game, but I just want to put this out there because I think that there is a disparity between real people and the mainstream media. This is what I mean. Look at the review between the customer, that's me and you, and the mainstream. It's night and day. This is pretty much like a Rotten Tomatoes event going on. And what's really crazy is that people are being called all kinds of mean things if they dislike The Last of Us 2. The same thing happened with some very disappointed movies that came out in bad taste, like Captain Marvel and the last couple of Star Wars, where it's no longer about the movies. It's about a narrative. And I guess right now people are all about those messages. And if you really think about it, the video game industry is the last media to be polluted by a narrative-driven idea. These, you better think like me or be called a bigot or racist or whatever. I am not saying that you can't use whatever form of media to try to push out your narrative or agenda. What I am saying is that there is a time and place for everything, and I think people have forgotten that. Example, If you were at an NBA game and during halftime, where they usually have some people come out and do some tricks, or they honor a local hero that saved a baby or whatever, they pull out a pulpit instead and start preaching the gospel. Well, that's all good, I suppose, but that's not the time or the place for that to be happening. I would say the same for movies and for games. People go out and want to watch a movie or play games for entertainment purposes, not for a message or a narrative. There's ways to do this, but for some reason, they're getting into action movies, killer movies, monster movies, and now they're creeping into games more and more. And if you complain saying this is not what I paid for and you are disappointed with something that you had purchased, the people that develop these movies or games want to call you names and say that it's your fault and that you need to accept their message, and if you don't, you're a bad person. Really? This is where we're going? Where one person's ideas or narrative can be shared openly and cannot be criticized at all, because if you do, the mainstream will shut you down? You can't say it's not happening, because with recent events, cancel culture has gotten out of control. Shows that don't fit certain narratives have gotten pulled, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into it too deep, but all I can say is, as a gamer, I will stand up and go against this type of tyrannical dictatorship of the self-righteous. And as the looks of the actual reviews that have come from people that just want to be real and aren't bowing down to these crazies at Naughty Dogs, there are more people that don't want these types of narratives and agendas in games either. We play games to get away from the things they're putting into them. So with that being said, I will get off my soapbox. I just thought that I would put it out there because we need to let it be known. What say you? Do you think that the Xbox Series X capabilities outweigh the quickness of the PS5? What do you think about the rumors that the Series X will be priced at $400? And if so, do you think that it will hurt the sales of the PS5? What about that Lockhart at a possible $200? Please comment below, and if you want me to go into depth with anything, just let me know. With that being said, keep moving forward and keep strong in these crazy times, my friends. Live long, play hard. I'm out.